Okay, so we are live. Good evening, everyone, to our webinar on career in securities litigation.
Sorry to interrupt. We are live now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on career in securities litigation. We have with us here our guest speaker, Mr. Arpit Guru, and he is a graduate from HNLU Raipur, where he was also a gold medalist. He has a plethora of experience in commercial litigation and arbitration, both in India and abroad as well. So I'm sure that you guys will learn a lot. Be attentive and ask any questions that you might have. So please take the reins, sir.
Thank you so much, Devraj, and thank you so much, Yashi. Today, am I audible? Is it good? Everyone can hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, so because my voice is not that high, so I always ask, am I audible? Okay, so good evening, everyone, and today we are going to discuss how to establish your career in securities law. I know it might be a boring topic for some of you. You might just be here to understand what securities law is, or you might be actually interested in working in securities law in India. So let's start with something very basic. What is securities law? Okay, what is securities? So you must have heard the share market. It goes up, it goes down, bull, bear, the market tanked because of the world news or something like that. So all of that is virtual money. You cannot feel it in your hands. However, when a company is established, then they have to raise money for it. So a security is a financial instrument usually designed to raise money for a business from investors in a business. For example, if I want to open a business of cryptocurrency, it's a very hot topic right now, and because cryptocurrency has been recently legalized in India, after payment of 30% of tax, you can deal with cryptocurrency. Still, it hasn't got the exact value of what an actual currency has. So I'll change my example. If I want to open a cotton mill, like very basic, and I want money from public because I do not have the requisite amount with me, what will I do? I'll go and establish a public limited company or a private limited company. Currently, I will deal with public limited company. If it's a public limited company and it is listed at BSE or NSE, BSE is Bombay Stock Exchange and NSE is National Stock Exchange, then I will have something called an IPO. IPO is initial public offer. What happens in an IPO is the company wants certain amount of money from the public. Then it will propose to sell its shares to the public. Through that money, through that IPO, people will be able to bid certain amount and win and get the allocated amount of shares. So that is a security. Now, what does security law dictates? Security law dictates what a corporation has to do in order to offer their investment to public. This law only exists to make sure that the public investments are fair to everyone who might invest in the company. So you might have heard SEBI. Everyone might have heard SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. They are the watchdog of the security market. Any company which wants to raise money has to go through SEBI, take their approval, and SEBI has almost 50 to 60 regulations which people have to follow in a certain situation. So I will not deal with each and every regulation, and I will not even deal with all the security laws. I will just tell you what are the basic laws you need to understand to gain a basic understanding of how a security attorney who works in this field, or who works with NCLT, or who works with SAT. Uh, SAT is a tribunal in Mumbai which deals with securities. So traditionally, there are two forms of security laws. One is either you start the securities litigation by joining a litigation firm. So one is very basic, like what I do. I have a litigation firm. Here, what we do is we get cases, and we go forward with it if there is any issue. Second is you join those companies which are doing IPO. Now, there are good law firms who are hired by companies to manage their IPO, manage in the sense the legal filing, and everything has to be done. So I would always suggest, if you're interested in working in the field of security, join a law firm which specifically deals with security law. Almost all the tier 1 law firms in India have a separate division of security law. There, companies like Tata or Reliance, name any company, they will have they will be their client, because it's not only about IPO, it's also about subsequent offers. If a company is having a subsidiary company, excuse me, and they want to offer something, so the first thing that they need to do is file before the Securities and Exchange Board of India, and that filing is very complicated. I will come upon the litigation part later, because that comes when the dispute happens, where the shareholders have to go to NCLT, or where before NCLT people used to go to High Court. But so if you are a student, you might have heard lifting of corporate veil. So if a company does anything illegal, or a company or the directors act not in accordance with, now you might know what is MOA and AOA. So if you're not able to, if the directors are not following the memorandum of association and article of association, then each shareholder has a right to approach NCLT to get his or her rights enforced. Now, this is the part where litigation comes into play, because NCLT has the power of winding up a company. Now, I'll not go into much detail into NCLT, because that's another topic altogether. So, what you need to understand is the acts and rules governing securities is the SEBI Act and Companies Act. Now, why security law? As a security lawyer, you can actually gain a lot of experience, and with that, money is important. You can actually have a very good salary working with a corporation which deals with this. So, because Indian capital markets are both a beneficiary of this positive investor sentiment, because everyone in India wants to invest. Because there are so many apps these days, you just need a demat account. You just tell them, okay, I want to buy. Even if you don't want to do short trading, you want to do some kind of trading just to be there in the environment, because everyone is doing this. Because you might have heard, I want to purchase this amount of shares. Something like IPO came out, or you might have heard your friends, okay, this company's share went really up, and I got a profit of, for example, 50,000 rupees. However, that amount which you need to understand is only virtual currency. It is only when you get it back into your account, it will be actual real currency. So sometimes you might have heard you have lost the investment that you have made is gone, but the money which you used was real. So because this deals with something which is intangible, you cannot hold it in your hands, you cannot see it, you can just see the number that is there. So industry experts are confident of the momentum which India has, and the estimated capital market of Indian equity is 6.1 trillion. It will rise to 6.1 trillion by 2027. Right now it's 2.3 trillion. So it is very important for you to understand how you can be a beneficial part of a firm, any organization, as a security attorney. Usually, if you want to be a security attorney, you have to be a lawyer. It would be better if you have completed CS, company secretary, or if you've worked in the field of investment banking, or you're a chartered accountant. Because other than that, no course will give you such specific information about security market. Now, what happens when a corporation comes into the market, and how you will be able to assist to them? So first, understand what all happens in a security market. First is there's merger and acquisition. Everyone know M&A. Then there's public takeover. One company takes over the other company. Third is private equity investment. If there's a private limited company, someone might invest into it. Offer for sale on stock exchange. If you have one stock, or if you have n number of stock, and if you want to just sell it, you go to the stock market and just start with, okay, this is the amount that I want to sell my share. So if someone bids on it and he gets his share. Then corporate restructuring. Now, corporate restructuring basically means that a corporation is either buying back its shares, reducing its share capital, delisting, relisting, and mergers and demergers. So every company which deals with shares is listed with BSE or NSE. I think there are certain questions on the meeting. Okay. Okay, I thought there was some question for me.
No, sir, they are purely technical.
Okay,
Please
okay,
move.
okay. So sorry, so sorry. All right. So I think we have understood what security law is, and I'm not going to get in detail with it because you can do an LLM in security law. I just want to give you a brief outline how you deal with security law and how you can make yourself as a lawyer. I think most of you are students here, so how you can make yourself much more valuable wherever you work as a security attorney. So, what another way you can actually work, because this is a career guidance. I particularly am into litigation, but I have seen how you can actually get your foot in the door. First is you need to see the listed companies and MSMEs. For example, Tata. Tata is everywhere. So they need lawyers to deal with security law because uh, they have so many regulations to follow that they cannot always hire outside counsel. So you have to be the in-house counsel of Tata. This is just an example. So another is sometimes you need to actually work in the organization itself, like SEBI. SEBI has legal officers. They have this whole all India exams and everything. So it's a very prestigious one. If anyone gets a chance to give it, just and it's a two-stage one if I'm not wrong. So another one is SEBI. Third is what happens when there is a dispute. A company came into the market, they took your money and ran away. I mean, they just folded. What happens then? Then you either go to SEBI, then or you go to SAT, which is Securities Appellate Tribunal, NCLT, High Court, NCLAT, Appellate Tribunal, and finally the Supreme Court. Now, why should you work in security law in India? Okay, so there are two kinds of laws in India. Basically, laws in the sense there are two places where you can work: corporate or litigation. Usually, sometimes litigation also has corporate, but या तो आप कोर्ट चले जाओ. People who always say this, if you just go to the court or you work at a firm. But I would suggest, like I would really suggest to have a hybrid understanding of everything, in the sense that there are 33 million stock market investors in India, like 33 million, and there are 2.78 crore SIPs, systematic investment plan accounts, throughout which Indians are investing in stock market on a regular basis. So just see the sheer number of people who are dealing with this security, not the security law, just the security. So how would you be able to help them? Now there's something called foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio, institutional investors, and people from outside India are investing money into India. How do you help them? So first is you get the basic knowledge of security law yourself. And that is what I would suggest right now. You understand security, how security laws are implemented in India, what are the laws, so that you have the basic understanding of how in India security laws are working. So because everything is not just equity investment, but are also debt capital market, which are derivative and commodity segments that have done extremely well in India. So the underlying strength of the market and the growing volume suggests that there will be a growing need of lawyers who understand the capital market and SEBI regulation. So this is not a short-term opportunity. Markets have opened and they have bounced back. So with market, there will come litigation. Yes, stock market will sometime go down. It will go up. That is just temporary. IPOs will come. Some will flourish, some won't. But the thing is, they need someone to do all that filing and manage all the compliances. That is where you come into play. So during COVID, we used to hear something that, okay, the markets have gone down because a new variant of COVID virus is here. Because market runs on sentiment. So you will not be dealing with the market itself. You will be dealing with the legal aspect of it. So do not get worried that you lose your job when the market goes down, or if a company is not ready to come with an IPO. Because, excuse me, there are n numbers of filings to be done. Yes, sometimes chartered accountants are higher, sometimes company secretaries are higher. But if you're a lawyer who have an exclusive knowledge of security law, you'll be able to actually do way better than any other profession, like litigation or something like that. So, who will your client be? First is SMEs, small and medium enterprises. Second are institutional buyers, because sometimes companies just want to get listed in stock exchange. Then asset management companies, foreign institutional investors, portfolio investors, victims of security fraud, misrepresentation by brokers, investment advisors. So sometimes you might hear this word broker, like the street in which BSE is there is called Dalal Street. So Dalal means a broker who takes money from you and invest on your behalf and deals with shares. So any class action so in India the concept of class action is very new, and I suppose it is catching up. It's not there, but in future it will be a class action because there are n number of shareholders who will have an action against the company. So each and everyone cannot just go and join the litigation. It will be extremely expensive to do that and cumbersome. Then SEBI needs a lot of advice, so you can be an advisor to SEBI. Then the director and promoters sometimes are accused of insider trading. Now, I'm pretty sure you know what an insider trading is. In an insider trading, they already sometimes director or promoters or anyone, they know the price of a share that is going to go up or down, and they accordingly take advantage of it. That is an offense, a punishable offense. So in that situation, someone is accused of it, you will be the first person whom they'll go. Then there are banks, merchant banks and investment banks, and large stock brokers. Those will require compliance advisory or litigation support. Now, what are the pros and cons of practicing security law? I have given you all the pros. You know India is growing, security market is booming. You know everything that is going on. But the most important thing you should also know is that this is a field where there are not a lot of advocates present. It's a very niche. Like, for example, if I'm into litigation, if I go tomorrow and fight a case, fight a civil case or any criminal case, there will be at least 5,000 lawyers who knows what to do there. But if you are a security lawyer, it will be mostly in hundreds, because not many people are able to understand and grasp. As a student, you will be able to understand, you will be able to decipher the technicalities of the law. So I would really suggest, because you will not face that much of a competition in this field. See, you will face competition. It's not that you won't, but the amount of competition, if you go venture into this market right now, you will have the first advantage. So, because you will be the first mover into it, for example, you are 30 students. Right now, there are 40 of you. Out of 40, if even five decide, okay, I want to study more about this, I'm in my fourth year of law school or fifth year of law school, and I really want to understand the concept and work there, then you will be among the like few in India, because everyone either wants to go to a law firm or wants to join litigation or want to have a career in services. That's great. But if you want to do anything new, I think security law is one field where you can actually work and learn. And it's all about experience. It's all about experience. You just, okay, because sometimes if we, for example, someone might not know international arbitration. So, what is the best way to learn international arbitration? This is not written anywhere. This is just the advice I'm giving you. You read and you venture. That is it. Only by experience. There are n number of things that you will never learn in a law school, which you will learn in a court of law or in the field. Small things which make big difference. So if you are worried about how will I be able to understand security law or anything like that, just read and venture into the problem. Do not think twice. So how to learn to get started as a securities lawyer? There are a lot of regulations for IPOs, intermediaries, listing of debt security, other instrument, that requires disclosure requirements, delisting guideline, insider trading regulation, unfair trade practice regulation, Companies Act, application for takeover codes. So these are all the codes: memorandum of appeal, code of conduct, SEBI proceedings. So you need to get a hold of all of it. Now, I'm not saying just start reading. No, you have to actually pick up a topic and then go ahead with it. So how, now let me tell you where exactly you can work. Firstly is as an in-house legal team of a listed company. I always take example of Tata. Tata hires n number of lawyers, be it Tata Motors, Tata Finance, or anything Tata is there. So they need security lawyers. Second is large conglomerates. So the conglomerates like Tata, Reliance, Bharti, Adani, Hinduja need to hire experts in security law. Third is basically you must have thought about is law firms. Yes, law firms. There are good law firms. They are boutique, and they deal with only security law. So if you are targeting securities law, go for a boutique law firm that deals with security law. Then investment banks will need you, corporate brokers will need you, SEBI will need you. For SEBI you need to give an exam, and stock exchange. So now comes, where will I learn all of this? Now that is where the problem comes. The problem actually comes in dealing with the location, because Bombay Stock Exchange is in Mumbai and National Stock Exchange is in Delhi. So it's not that you cannot practice anywhere, but the problem is the location where everything is happening is in Mumbai. So either you work in Mumbai or you have to do some to and fro from Mumbai. I think this is all which encapsulates how you can be a security lawyer, what is security law, where you can work, how you can gain more experience. There are so many cases going before NCLT. If you ever have time, just go through the listing of NCLT. Shareholders have filed a case against the company. One company has filed a case against another company. Someone might have filed a case with Competition Commission of India. That is outside the purview of securities law, but in the purview of company law. So, like you cannot regulate the market you cannot have a monopoly over something. So this each and everything that you learn in securities law will have and is of commercial nature. There's no one stabbing someone. There's no one stealing someone's property other than money. So be very careful in the field that you are choosing. If you are going into securities law, you have to really work and understand the concept and then the reality of the market. For that, if you are in your final year or fourth year or third year, just work with a law firm, because usually companies will give you an internship, but it will be very difficult to learn anything there because most of them outside outsource their work to a law firm or a lawyer. So anything that you need to learn, you will learn with a firm or someone dealing with security law as an advocate. I think this is mostly to encapsulate what security law is, because I can keep on telling you, okay, this section of SEBI says this. This is the regulation of SEBI when you go for IPO. This is the regulation. You have to take permission of NCLT if you go for mergers and acquisition. Earlier, it has to be you have to take permission of High Court. Now they've given to you have to take SEBI permission for this. You have to do this much filing. It's very exhaustive, and so there's this. Okay, so if you want to read something about it, I am going to send an email to Devraj. There's a chartered accountant's company secretary book in which they have I think 3 chapters dedicated for security law. It's a 340-page document. I tried to read it for you, but I couldn't go beyond 30 pages because it's a huge one. They will explain each and everything to you. So I have it on my computer, or I will email it to Devraj and he can circulate it around. Would that be possible, Devraj?
Yes, sir. After the session ends, I'll give you my email ID and then we'll circulate to all the students.
So that is okay. Why I always tell you have to read. For example, I am going to quote for the first time as a new lawyer. Whatever you have studied in law school, it's very sad that I'm saying this. It's of very less value because court craft and actual market works in a very different way. When you intern, you see something else, and when you actually go back to your classroom, you're taught something else. So this is what I would suggest. First read and then actually practice it. I'm sure if there is a competition on securities law, like LedX can actually have a small competition, a virtual competition, give a problem that this is the problem which the corporations are facing, and how will you deal with as a security lawyer. That is how you will learn. That is the best way to learn, because Devraj, I suppose all of them are students.
Yes, sir, all of them, and most of them are third year or younger.
Excellent. That's the best time to learn. And there are a lot of apps these days which you can download and just follow what's going on in the market. I'm not asking you to invest, because that you need to do according to your own knowledge after reading all the risk and कहते हैं ना, जोखिम and everything that you need to learn. So I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm asking you to do is just follow. Just pick up one company, see where its share is right now. Not every day, just 2-3 दिन में एक बार just go through it and just see what's happening. It will be very interesting how it goes. Shares go up and down. So maybe that will create your interest into securities law. That such a big market, such big investment is done by people of India and trusting their money with corporations. So I think this is what basically being a corporate lawyer, or sorry, securities lawyer is all about. And I suppose I am going to share the document because it's 340 pages. If you ever, okay, does being a security lawyer make you a smart investor? Now, okay, does being a lawyer makes you a good spokesperson? Maybe yes, if you are into litigation. it does make you a good spokesperson. It gives you a lot of confidence. So if you know securities law, you know the nitty-gritties of it, I'm pretty sure you will be a smart investor. Next step. Okay, so there are two places where you can invest. I'm so sorry. There are two places you can intern. One is a law firm. Just go through a law firm's website and see whether they have a security division. People have corporate M&A and a lot of others. However, most of the tier one law firms will have a securities division in their firm, and mostly they are in Mumbai. They are at Mumbai. So, Raghav, I would really suggest, because you are a CS student, go and intern with a firm which deals with securities law. And don't do a 1 month internship, at least do 2 to 3 months. Because these things take a lot of time. There are a lot of filings, and you actually need to understand a lot. It takes, and you might not be able to see anything from the beginning. You might just join in from it. And this is just an example I'm giving you from my own experience, that you will not be, for example, I started litigating in 2016, and then I went to New York for 4 years. I was not here, and then when I came back to Indore, I saw that case is still going on. So there are at least 10 lawyers who have seen that case and given the NOC and everything. So it will be very difficult for you to actually see everything from the start until unless you start working there permanently. However, I would really suggest go and intern somewhere, take up a project, ask the manager or a supervisor that this is what I'm interested in. If you have any work regarding that, do whatever they are giving you. They will give you, okay, do some research on this, do some research on it. But my genuine suggestion to you is you will not learn until unless you are in the field. You are standing before the court or NCLT or before the banker. So do not worry about getting as much experience as you can, because soon, Raghav, you will be in your, like, you will graduate and you will actually have a job. So I wonder whether the company going through due diligence. Yeah, so that's great. If they were going through DD and you were a part of it, so at least you learn how to do due diligence. If not, how they actually went for the IPO and everything, because it's a long process. So it's a very good thing that you were able to do that. Are there any other questions that I can answer?
Yes, sir. There is a question. Suvigya from ILS Pune asks, will doing a company secretary course along with LLB help in future prospects for securities law?
Okay, so yes, I would suggest, if you are a CS student and it is very demanding to do CS with LLB, extremely demanding, but if you are able to do it, just go for it, because it's very rewarding. However, you can practice as a CS or as an advocate. You cannot do both. You can write it in your resume that you are a CS2, you're qualified as a CS, but you can either practice as a lawyer or as a CS. So I would suggest go for it. And in the end, if you choose, you want to address yourself as a lawyer or you want to address yourself as a CS, it's just a matter of designation. It will not change much of it. So yes, go for it. Can you venture into litigation after doing transactional work or vice versa? Okay. What I would suggest is, uh, it's very difficult for me to answer that if you will be able to venture into transactional work after litigation or into litigation after transactional work, because I personally cannot work at a firm. I have interned, I have tried to work, I have worked at international firms. It doesn't, it's mostly about you. So whatever you want to do, it's upon you. If you want to go into corporate, a lot of people shift from corporate to litigation. However, I have seen few shifting from litigation to corporate because it gives you a lot of freedom. If you are in a corporate firm, um, you will not have that kind of freedom to work with starting. However, the benefits are you will get a okay. It all comes down to sometimes money. You will have a fixed income and job securities and everything. In litigation, you are your own boss, but it actually depends upon what you actually want to do and where your interest lies. I hope that answers your question. There's a question of Raghav. Do you provide internship? So yes, but mine is not security based. We do commercial law and mostly corporate litigation. So before the high court and mostly international arbitration and sometimes domestic too. So if you are interested into that, then surely we can talk about it. But I do not specifically deal with securities as of now, after COVID at least. Okay, same question you just answered. Does the experience help? Yes, experience of interning, if you're asking me, yes, experience of interning anywhere will help you. Okay, litigation too. Okay, what will happen is if you're in litigation, law firms will actually hire you. Law firms actually hire independent lawyers to represent themselves in court. Litigation is court, either NCLT or SAT or High Court, Supreme Court. So if you're practicing there, you will be hired by law firms or taken advice to how to deal with court because it mostly deals with court craft. You have knowledge of securities laws, I have knowledge of securities laws, but the person who's actually appearing before the bench will have a different perspective. So I think venturing from litigation into corporate is sometimes difficult. So it depends upon you.
There
Yes.
is
Okay. So
another question, sir.
uh
Whether someone who is from a BCom background will they be eligible to give a SEBI exam?
SEBI law exam, I don't think so because you need a LLB for that. But SEBI has a lot of other positions. SEBI has a lot of analyst positions too, which you can definitely apply because BCom is still commerce. And yes, but not for the legal jobs. And for the book, I
Also,
have Pratima
yeah,
has
yeah.
asked for the book. I'm going to send the PDF to Devraj. He's going to circulate it around. It's very concise. I wouldn't say 340 pages are concise, but still, it's very well written. I couldn't go beyond 30, but I'm sure you guys are way more academically oriented than me, so I'll do that. No worries. Yeah.
And sir, Suvigya asked whether what do you think about the demand of securities litigation in future?
It is going to rise because I'll tell you why. Everyone is an investor. Everyone thinks that they are going to make money, which is true. Sometimes you do make money, sometimes you lose money. Everyone in one family, earlier they used to say someone is an engineer or a lawyer, but now at least two people from each family are investing in the market. So the sheer volume of people investing says that there will be disputes and people will need good security lawyers. Okay, is much important. There's a question by Kushi. My question is it much important to get intern from a known place, or if it's okay to intern from a much lesser place and also experience? Okay, and there's another question asked: security government held exam for security laws. I don't think so. There's only SEBI, and you need to research more on that. But I don't think so. There's a specific exam for security laws by government or UPSC or PSC. There are a lot of positions like if you are into IPR, so there are trademark officers. Into SEBI, there are legal officers. if you want to get into government corporations, you have to give, if I'm not wrong, CLAT, and through that CLAT score, you get into government corporations. I hope that is still there. But okay, so this question I would like to answer. Wherever you intern, forget about being renowned or not right now. Just see whether they have work or not. If they have good amount of work, if it's renowned, it's assumed that they have good amount of work, and that is true. That's why they are renowned. People know him because people are giving them work. But sometimes people who are less renowned but do have some clientele will also give you a better experience, and you will get a job not on the basis of names. Name matters, yes, but after a while, when you are experienced into something, that name will not matter. Like, people used to tell me, your school matters a lot, the school which you have studied from. Then everyone told me, oh, you got into national university, that matters a lot. Then when I did my LLM from NYU, people said, okay, NYU will matter a lot. So as and when you go higher, the latter will not matter. So it's just a stepping stone. Just having a graduation in, okay, any position we could apply for eventually at the stock exchange. Yes, there are some position at stock exchange also. BSc hires lawyers and NSC hires lawyers. So go to the website, career pages, and SEBI, of course, I have told you, hire lawyers. So does having a graduation economics and then doing law? So yes, economics is very important. Sometimes people who have a BCom background, BA background, it's difficult for them to have a grasp over commerce. But if you are an economics graduate and then doing law, I'm sure you will do well.
Okay, I think there are no more questions. I would like to thank you so much, sir. This was a very enriching experience, not only for the students there, even for me. I learned a lot. So, thank you so much for coming here. I'll just share my email with you on WhatsApp, and then you
Yes.
can share the book which you wanted to. So,
Yes.
thank you on behalf of all the students. I'm sure they learned a lot. And also a notification to all the students, please bear with me for a couple of more minutes. I have an announcement for you guys. Let's leave and then I'll talk to you guys.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And there's this last question I'll just answer. Do you think CV
Yeah, definitely.
would hold importance in future? Same. See, resume. Okay, it's a different topic altogether. Don't make a resume more than 1.5 page, because no one is interested to read after the first 5 lines. So resume is important to get a initial job, but after a while, it's just your reputation. If someone will recommend you, people will hire you. So yes, and I'll be happy to actually come again sometimes. And
Yeah,
if
definitely.
there are more
As you
topics to,
suggested, sir, your suggestion about hypothetical for securities law would be great. And if we have such a competition, we'll invite you to judge it for sure.
it will be my pleasure. And
Sorry to interrupt. We have a question. It's there on YouTube. Can I go for SEBI exam after CS or doing practice continue in CS?
yeah, I think you just need a basic LLB degree, or I think you should be in your final year awaiting result. Something like that happens. So you can go through it, and it's a very competitive exam, but it happens almost every year, and they take, I think, 2 to 5 people. I have a batchmate who works there. So I know how rewarding, because everyone keeps on asking him kaun sa share kharide, kaun sa kharide. I mean, people just try to annoy him sometimes, but it's a very good job. So do check that out. And yes, um, there's one more thing. I'm a corporate law LLM student. Sometimes you said about internship corporate law. Can you please repeat that? I think I said a lot of things about corporate law, but okay, it's answered.
Yeah.
How's doing legal work in SEBI? I have not worked in SEBI, but my batchmate works. So I can, after asking him, I can share his contact with you, and you can invite him to talk about it, because I
Yeah,
think I need to
definitely.
ask him and not give his name out here. So I think thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Keep working hard. Keep enjoying what you're doing. We are out of COVID, so best of luck to everyone. Go out, enjoy, and study well. If there's anything that I can do, just ping me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to answer. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you, Devraj. Thank you, Yashi, and
Thank
take
you
care,
so much,
guys.
sir. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much,
Bye.
sir. It was an amazing session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so all the students here, what I wanted to say to you guys was that I am putting a link in the chat box. All of you, please, please, please fill the link. If you do not fill this form out, you won't get your certificates. Also, if you fill the link, you will get a coupon for attending another masterclass on criminal legal drafting. So that would be on a discounted price. So please fill the form and you will get all the details in your mails. And I'll also share the book which sir wanted to share with you guys. So best of luck on that. Please fill the link. I have put it in the chat box. Uh, Also for people on YouTube, we'll try to put it in the YouTube comment section as well. Okay. See you guys. Bye.